Alright guys, so today we're going to check out a brand new pair of truly wireless earbuds that as of today you can back on Indiegogo. Now normally I don't like talking about Kickstarter or Indiegogo projects, mainly because you don't know how these projects are going to pan out. One, the product may never come out, and then two, sometimes it seems as though companies are doing these type of projects to see if there's interest in the product itself. But the pair we're going to check out today has some really interesting features, and it has an early bird price of $79, so I definitely thought it was worth checking out. And the pair we're going to check out is the HiFi T2000. Now, one of the things that makes these unique is not only can you use these as a truly wireless earbud and a wired earbud, it also has a UV antivirus button on the front that basically disinfects your earbuds while they're in the case. Now, obviously with the times that are going on right now and people being a little more careful when it comes to what they're touching and being a little more protective, I think having this feature is going to pique a lot of people's interest. But what you can see is when you press and hold the button, there's a blue light that kind of comes on the outside of the case, and that's the light being used inside, which is UV rays to disinfect your earbuds. Now again, I'm kind of having to take their word for it as far as to how well that works because I don't know much about this technology. Now when it comes to the earbuds themselves, again, I think there's some interesting features here, but I really wanted to dive into these to see if it's worth that $79 price tag. Now these do have Bluetooth 5.0 and they are using a Realtek audio chip, which I have found does a much better job with audio than most of the Qualcomm chips. Now these do not have an official IP rating, so this is definitely not a pair that you want to take any chances with being around water. Now inside the box you are getting several sets of ear tip sizes. I personally had a hard time finding a good fit with the ones that were included, but because of the design of these, it actually makes it hard to use third-party ear tips as well. So do know that you may have a little bit of an issue getting a good seal with these. Now also inside the box you are getting a USB-C cable for charging, and the battery life on these are just so-so. In fact, these are actually on the lower end because it says that you can get 3 to 4 hours on the earbuds individually, but if you listen to these at higher volume, you can already go ahead and expect you're only going to get around 3. Now with the charging case, you can get close to around 12 hours total, and that's kind of surprising, especially considering how large this case is. It kind of looks like the Pelican cases that photographers and videographers use to carry around their equipment. I mean, the case is massive, so this is not as easily pocketable as a lot of other truly wireless earbuds. And it's also an interesting design considering where they stuck the USB-C input. Now it is on the back, but it's on the top part of the lid, which is what moves when you open the case. So you can't actually have a charging cable plugged into these and to be able to open them at the same time. Now on the top you can see the UV antivirus button and the power button, and then it actually has 6 indicator lights on top. Now it's actually only the 4 lights in the middle that lets you gauge how much battery life is on the case, where the 2 on the outside that lets you know that the left and the right earbuds are in the case and that they're charging. Now one of the other things that I want to point out about these is every time that I put the earbuds in the case, it doesn't automatically disconnect from my phone. So you have to put the earbuds in the case and then you have to press and hold the power button until you see them shut completely off and disconnect from your phone. And to me, that's kind of a pain because I'm so used to throwing earbuds in the case and them automatically disconnecting, which basically means a lot of the time I found that my earbuds were dead because they stayed connected to my phone the whole time. Now when you open the lid to these, other than seeing the earbuds themselves, you also see that the coiled cable is inside the case as well. So you're able to carry the cable, and I'm thinking that also kind of contributes to the case being as bulky as it is, but the contraption that the cable wraps around and sticks into here makes it very hard to be able to wrap these back and stick them in the case. It's almost like you're not going to be able to get them in there the same way that they're presented out of the box. Now moving over to looking at the earbud, earbuds. As far as the size go, I think it's really comparable to the AirPods Pro. Kind of looks like it has that shorter stem to them. And again, that's where you would also connect the wired connection. These do utilize button controls, and I'm happy to say that they control everything, but I am not happy to say that it is very uncomfortable to use these. Now, the button control is a little harder to push, so it always kind of feels like you're jamming these things into your ear. So that in itself is definitely a turnoff. Now, when it comes to using these independently, you can use either the left or the right. And when you do use them that way, it switches over into mono mode so that you're hearing all of the audio out of the one earbud instead of just the left on the left earbud and the right on the right earbud. So that is definitely a plus. Now, when it comes to the microphones on here, I think they're doing a decent job, especially if you're just in a quiet room. But when you're in a noisier environment, these aren't really doing a whole lot to block out your surroundings. So do know that it's probably going to pick up some of that sound around you. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here.
All right, guys, so this is a mic test using the T2000. Like I said, I think in a quiet environment, it picks up my vocals pretty well, and I don't think most people on the other line are going to have any complaints. So now this is a mic test with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's talk about the sound. The sound I've found to be pretty interesting on these because it kind of steers away from a lot of the normal sound that's coming out of truly wireless earbuds. Now, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but they are using dual nitinol dynamic drivers, which I honestly thought meant I was going to have pretty impactful bass with some really crystal clear highs and just an overall very dynamic sound. I didn't get that from these at all. In fact, what I got was complete lack of bass. There's no punch when it comes to bass. It didn't matter which ear tip I switched to. It didn't matter if I kind of pressed and held them in. I tried everything to get bass impact out of these, and it's just super flat. And what that causes is these to feel like they have no life in the sound. It pretty much takes that whole dynamic feel completely out of them. But what also affects these is the fact that the treble is so bright that at times it can be very harsh. So if you like to listen to your music at louder volumes, these are going to sound ear-piercingly loud, but lack presence when it comes to bass. So overall, I just didn't find it to be very pleasing to listen to, and I tried a bunch of different genres. I tried even plugging them into my PC and plugging them into different things and using them wireless with different things. It's pretty much the same experience, and I personally don't like the sound that comes out of these. So if you're somebody that just likes a brighter sound signature, maybe this is a pair that you might be interested in, but to me, this is not pleasing to listen to, and it's very ear fatiguing to a point where you can't listen to them for long because of that ear-piercing treble. Now, when it comes to the sound stage and the imaging, I think this is done very well. Because the treble is bright and it's picking up a lot of details, you can definitely tell where the sounds are coming from. It really does feel like you're in a larger environment, but the sound just feels like the life has just been sucked out of them. So for me personally, this is not a pair that I enjoyed using. Now, my other cons with these, I think, are pretty serious. One, I do not like that the case is so bulky. I don't like that there is no official IP rating on these. They don't really fit me well, and I don't like that the earbuds don't automatically disconnect once you put them in the case. That just leaves you a lot of times with dead earbuds when you thought that they were charging in the case and you thought that they were disconnected from your device. But guys, that's my video on the 10 HiFi T2000. Like I said, this is an Indiegogo project. I think this is very interesting because of that antivirus button and them using UV rays to disinfect the earbuds. I just really wish that it had the audio to back these up as well. So for $79, I really do think there are a lot better options out there, but I do like that they're trying something different. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.